Stream. Okay. Sweet. Stream starting. Cool. Okay, so I think this is good. Let me know how it seems to be going. Okay, let's open this up. It is working. Okay. Yay. Okay, cool. So this is nice. Hello. Let's get in here. No, I'll probably use more bandwidth, honestly. Yeah, let's not do that. What we can do. Hello. Okay, the mic's going into both channels. I set it to mono in the settings, so I'm hoping it works out well in that regard. I don't know how long I'm going to be up streaming because it is 12:13 a.m. We kind of got neighbors, so yeah, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Videos and streams. Paste that. Cool. Alright, just post this a few places, see if you want to come and join in on the fun. Otherwise, sweet. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna close out of this. Just have everything open completely. Because I'm not gonna be in the Discord chat this time. So what we're gonna do is just have the stream chat open on my phone. And that should be good. Uh-oh. Okay. Cool. If you guys have any like mods to recommend me or whatever that isn't like physics mod or something, I'm probably not gonna use physics mods ever. I don't give a shit enough. There's something that might have to do with aesthetics for someone other than Modern Sonic, because right now I have Modern Sonic, I have the 06 model on, and I don't really want to get rid of that ever, and for some reason it's not letting me unpack files, so I can't do shit about that. So alright, so I think I have a certain mod on actually. Let's test it out.
Sonic, Eggman's forces are surging into the city. We need you here now.
Hold on, Tails. I'm on my way.
Definitely keeping this on. Let's see. I'll see if it works.
We don't have time to lose. Better kick things up a notch.
Maybe I don't have it on.
Man, look at the size of that thing. I guess all kinds of things show up when your neighborhood turns into a desert. Cleanup's gonna be a chore.
Oh. Yeah, I know about Overclocked. I know about Infinite's work. They do pretty good.
There's sand everywhere.
So
Green Hill's
long,
looking a lot more like Sand Hill right
that
now.
has like a one-click hedge mod installer. I could probably do that pretty easily.
Man, this place is a wreck. Thanks, Eggman. One of my favorite spots is all ruined.
There we go. Let me take a look at how the Supersonic model looks for 06 Sonic. Oh, the supersonic model is the same as the Forces model. They didn't update it for the '06 model. Is it hard to hear me? Oh, jeez. Okay, hold on. Alright. Give me a minute. Yeah, I just lowered all the stream audio and shit. Let me know how this is. Yeah, no, I definitely won't be doing supersonic again. I thought I was gonna have a cool '06 model, but it doesn't. Fuck, that's the superior. Look at that shit. Look how yellow his skin is. And then you have the reshade. Ooh, boy, the difference is night and day. Okay, now the music's too low. Okay, good. But I don't want the music too high on my own end. I don't like it too loud in my own ears. Oh, let me...
Listen up, rookie. Our other forces are busy dealing with enemies. Looks
Okay,
like
cool.
you took the best route. It's up to you to save Sonic now. Find him.
Sweet. That was weird. I don't even know what happened to my screen there.
The prisoners are being held in a kind of...
See, this is why I didn't want to turn the music up. I'll let the music be quiet because some of the music volume's inconsistent.
Security is tight, so stay on your toes.
Nothing in this room either.
We're still trying to find our way out. They got us pinned down.
There we go, boys.
Looks like this place was used up until recently.
It appears that many of our brethren were held here. That's one more thing Eggman will answer for.
They're on high alert now.
I sense Sonic's presence. He's close.
The unleashed problem, my person from the Warhog is a drop shadow making it hard to platform in the jazz battle theme. If it just played the stage music, yeah, I could definitely agree there. As far as the Warhog goes, that shit was fucking annoying. And the drop shadow definitely would have helped, but for the most part, it wasn't really too detrimental. I was still able to tell if I was gonna land on the platform majority of the time. It wasn't quite like Sonic Generations, where I had no idea if I was gonna land on fucking anything. Okay, somebody pick a stage for me. I think I have most of them. Let's look. Oh, I only have 3 of the extra stages, but I have all the secret ones. So, somebody pick one. I don't care which one. Come on, Moby. Come on, don't do this to me. Stage 26. I think that's Mortar Canyon, right? Yeah, there it is. Let's see how Shadow looks at this mod. Ah, shit. I wanted to see if I could do that. I guess not. I guess I fucked up. Let's try this again. That's weird. It doesn't happen. Yeah. I got that far. I got that far on IDW. I didn't like miss out on everything. There we go. Yep. Yes, it is. Oh boy. Yeah, I've kind of fucked up there. That was not that good of a Mortar Canyon run, even considering the different paths I was taking. Okay. Cool. There we go. Let's place regarding a rock, buddy. We'll go with a hover. Yeah, let's. Bye, bye, bye. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, let's do some Guardian Rock. Uh-oh.
It's a multi-legged battle mech. The energy readings are off the charts.
So Eggman had another weapon up his sleeve.
I forgot what the hover path looks like. Oh, this is what it looks like. Okay. Cool. Oh. Oh.
Mercenary tactics are all about the decoy you use. Just go wild and get their attention.
Don't push your luck too far, though.
Make as much noise as you can.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to adjust the reshade to look good with Green Hill, but also everything else. It's really weird. The way Green Hill's colors are is like drastically different from the rest of the game, so kind of hard to balance everything. But if I turn it off, it's gonna look like this, and honestly, this hurts my eyes more. So. I think literally if they just explained why they're around real quick, you could literally just explain it with, oh, these guys liked what we did so much that they've come to help us out whenever we want to, and this sort of like coexisting relationship. I see, then I'd be fine, because I feel like the Wisps are, like, most people are tired of the Wisps, but like, I want to be honest with you, I always like the Wisps way more than these dipshit fucking Chow. Like, I feel like I don't understand why there's fucking Chow. They all look like, all the Wisp has like some pretty distinct designs, but all the Chow is just like color swaps with a little bit of things like added. I don't like how the Chow look at all, and I don't really give a shit about the Chow Garden. I don't really give a shit about any of those things. So for the most part, I feel like Wisps are like just really cool in general, and a really awesome way to implement power-ups in the Sonic as a whole. But they just need to have a continuity if they're gonna have them just be like an alien race. Literally, if that's a big problem with just Sonic in general, though. Like, if they just established a fucking continuity, half of the shit we're complaining about wouldn't even be a fucking problem. That's all I really have to say. It's just there. Yeah, I'd say that, but I feel like the Wisps themselves, I don't think they need to go. I feel like they just need to explain them. That's literally it. Because honestly, I don't want the Wisps to go. I'm very pleased that I'm very happy how they used them in Forces. I'm very happy that they're in Team Sonic Racing. I don't like Lost World that much anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter, but you know, so like, alright, let's make a girl. Bird. This is objectively just the best fucking bird. This right here, this bird head. Silver's Lord Ghost of Rival. Okay, cool. That's cute. What a cute. Let's create my little girl. There's this little OC that I have already. Let's just recreate her. Bring them all in here, buddy. Let me scroll through and see if I can find a picture of her. I know I drew her once. Oh wow. I'm not really finding anything. I'm looking for my drawings. She should be there. She has to be there. There we go. Yeah, I know her general colors. Oh, let me go back and. This doesn't really matter. I'll just stick to the. Like a nice. Pale blue. There we go. Okay, boys. Hold on. Let me turn this shit down. And let's go to OBS and see if I can actually pump this up higher than normal. Cool. Okay, so I think this is good. There we go. Yeah, I think generally I'm louder, so I can deal with this. How's the audio on this? How would I bring him back? I don't know, honestly. Forces kind of fucked him up, so I don't really know what I would do with him. So, No, no, answer that one. Fuck, there's only the gold rim. That's not what I want. That's fine though. I think it was a different variation of this. It was something similar though. I know what gloves she was wearing though. And I think her shoes. What are her shoes? These were the shoes. There's my cutie. Hell yeah. There we go. You get that he is one with the ruby, and after they lose, you slowly trying to tears. And he then being a mercenary feels awful. He's trying to push the rubies or something. While using it to train himself as well. I feel like that just raises more questions about how the ruby works in general, because they do a pretty awful job of explaining the Phantom Ruby as a whole. They're really awful at it. There's a lot of shit about it that just doesn't make any sense, and they don't really explain anything. So for the most part, I feel like making him one with the Phantom Ruby, especially since he didn't start out that way, just along with everything else, it just seems really weird. Actually, hold. Yeah, like once again, I don't think they really did a good job explaining the Phantom Ruby. So. Even then though, like the Mania one was a lot simpler. Like it just kind of went through. As far as I could tell, the Phantom Ruby could just go to different points in space and maybe time. So at that point, the sort of power that Infinite has to do what he can do in forces just wouldn't make any sort of sense. There's a lot of trouble when it comes to that.
We can capture Eggman. We win. Find out where he's at, Sonic.
We'll provide as much cover as we can.
All right, chasing Eggman is what I do best. I'll track him down in no time.
Fucked up. Alright, let's try that shit again. What?
Other forces are on the move, too.
But he didn't leave to heal himself in the first place. He was stolen away by Eggman when he could still fight. As sort of like this, sort of the Eggman's disappointment, and then Eggman comes in with the Death Egg robot. So how would he have? Yeah, that doesn't make much sense. You can now play reverse block too. I guess we're just getting all the red rings then. Yeah, because I need to 100% this game again anyway. Because I only did it on Switch. I haven't done it on PC yet. Clearly. So let's just start off with red rings. This one, I'm missing 2, and I think I know which ones they are. I know exactly which ones they are, actually. Cool.
The enemy's factory is inside the pyramid. I can send reinforcements if you don't think you can handle it.
No need. The two of us are more than enough. We'll blitz the place and open up a path for the resistance. Right, partner? Time for the two of us to team up. It doesn't matter what obstacles they put in our way. We'll blow past everything they throw at us. Double boost! Yeah, that's how it's done. We've got unstoppable speed and timing. We just have to keep this up. Bingo! Found a way in.
You should be able to get into the factory through there. Stay alert.
This should be fun. Oh, so they're building weapons here, huh? Making everyone work like robots. It'll be Eggman's turn to get pushed around when I get a hold of him.
How do we don't have an official sort of power scaling. So why is he trying the power scale? There's no comparison between the two. It's not like Dragon Ball characters where they tend to have some direct sort of clear distinctive ways that one is superior to the other. For the most part, Dark Gaia is a god. I feel like the only reason they could possibly be saying that is because Sonic's actually lost and gotten his ass kicked by Infinite before, multiple times. But even then, that's sort of like a really faulty logic because it doesn't really give you anything to go off of. That's fucking weird. I don't know why they're even saying that. Alright, let's go Green Hill, bud. Look at classic Sonic's little face. He said Sega said, which I called BS before I had the power sconce. A low tier reality warper. A low what? I don't even know what to think about that. It's a really weird. There exist other reality warpers. That's a weird way of saying it. Big oof. Also, considering how, again, he kicked Sonic's ass as easy as he did the first time around, I feel like he's got a little more than just low class. I don't know, dude. For the most part, there's no real definitive answer to that shit. And if we tried to give a definitive answer to it, it would just be a fucking. I think there's sorts of perspective in the world around us. Well, yeah, but I don't really think we've gotten anything quite like this in the Sonic universe. Saying low tier reality warper would imply that it's like a sort of like a class of villains, right? And that like there's sort of a power hierarchy between them. But that's not the case as far as I know. Okay, what the fuck? I'm confused by that. Bro, I'm dead ass. I don't know if they're waiting. Do you think they might be working on Forces DLC? Because for the most part, there's every sign that's like pointing to Forces related DLC shit, and there have been signs for a while, but we haven't gotten shit on it.
I see desert over there. This is Green Hill, right? Something is wrong.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, so... Well, Solaris is a god. Solaris is a literal god. There's a big jump between those two. There's a huge jump between those two, and it's not so much that he manipulated time, Solaris anyway. It's more so that he existed at all points in time, because again, he's a god. He's sort of omnipotent. So, fuck it, I know, dude. Oh, fucking mess. It's not like the Sonic games really know to establish a continuity at all, so. Okay, so I'm not totally sure what I'm doing here. Oh, that's right. I couldn't get up there just a second ago. I'm forgetting shit real easily, huh? Big oof. Okay, well, for the most part, them teasing the DLC happened way after, like, it started way after Forces, like, got the reputation that it got, and it just kept coming, right? And it happened with Mania Plus 2. We got, like, a sort of teaser, or what seemed like a teaser for Forces DLC with that full ending, and by itself, I wouldn't have said it was a big teaser. But after seeing, what's it called? After seeing some other shit they done with promotions and stuff, I was just like, you know what? Maybe there is Forces DLC coming around. I'm not totally sure what they do. And to me, if there is more Forces DLC come out, then that means they've spent as much on this DLC, like as far as time goes. They might have spent as much of this DLC or more as they did time in the actual game. Which I think is just fucking hilarious, honestly. Okay, I'm supersonic, so spikes don't mean shit. Pits do. Pits do mean shit. Okay, so... Yeah, definitely. At this point, it would be after Team Sonic Racing. I'm just not gonna bother with Green Hill, honestly. Fuck this. I'll do a Luminous Forest, though. Hell yeah, I like me some Luminous Forest. Infinite Final Boss. Honestly, I don't really give a shit about getting Infinite Final Boss. Infinite's cool, but for the most part, it would just kind of fuck with the narrative even more than you have. I would rather than just tell, like, another... What's it called? Tell, like, a sort of after story within the game. Like, that happens, like, right after the game, you know what I mean? So much is just, like, getting another Infinite fight, especially if they're taking this long. the Avatar, as far as I know, the Avatar and Sonic just kind of went on their own separate ways. Like, Sonic left, the Avatar left, and then everyone else is cleaning up. So I don't really see,
I've located an unknown enemy. They're in the ruins up ahead.
too much question in where the Avatar went. He just kind of went to live his fucking life now that the war was over.
On the radar. Something from the jungle?
I guess all the explosions riled it up. It looks like we'll get past without a fight. You're so gonna regret that. Let's not go rolling that.
Fuck. I did the QTE so early because I was fucking reading that. For the most part, don't most people hate the IDW comic? I've been hearing a lot of, like, shit about it, honestly. Like, from what I've read, it's cool, but for the most part, I don't know if a lot of people like the IDW shit. What? Oh, now this song's just gonna come on again. There we go, boys. I'll just turn off the music entirely, and I'll, like, turn on the game music, honestly, because I don't really give a fuck enough. Alright. Well, I'm in Discord now, so if you want to join in.
Hi.
Hello.
So from what I can tell, the comic has gotten more praise after the Neo Metal Sonic reveal, and after Super Neo Metal Sonic. But after, before that, people were complaining that
I'm below
that,
woo. Huh?
I think they were complaining over the fact that Sally Acorn isn't gonna be in it, and that is not being with the Freedom Fighters, and that's what pissed off people.
Most of what I heard, people were fucking happy that the Freedom Fighters were gone, but they didn't like the new additions that they were bringing to the table. This is just the shit I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. But this is just
I saw a little bit of a backlash with the new additions until they saw them in action. So, like, the new addition that they have is Whisper the Wolf, and she's basically like the created character.
Yep.
But more badass, apparently. She has some shit with Shadow that we don't know about yet. And she's very quiet and, like, to herself. She doesn't like working with anybody, so,
yeah.
You know, edgy. But besides that, people have been praising the comics and how they're doing their storytelling and the pacing. For example, there's one scene, apparently they found Eggman again, and he has amnesia, so he doesn't remember anything.
I do remember this. I think I've read...
I think that was issue 5.
Yeah, I read all the way up to, I think, right before the issue Whisper was shown in, so...
Which was issue 8.
Yeah.
Issue 5 had that, and I love the character development that they did there because they paid attention to continuity. Whereas, like, Shadow's like, we can't trust Eggman just because he has amnesia. And Sonic's like, well, weren't you the same person who had amnesia before and we still put trust in you?
Alright.
Which I appreciate that they did that. IDW Sonic is doing a lot of things that I really wish Sonic Team took the time to do.
For the most part, though, I think Sonic Team has to reconstruct their sort of continuity entirely, because you have this, you go across the whole world in Sonic Unleashed, but, like, Gon and Soliana, well, I guess, well, Soliana still exists, right? It exists, but, like, the events that happened in 06 didn't happen because of the time thing, but that doesn't erase Soliana. Soliana still exists in some form, and then, but you still have, like, Prison Island, the United Federation, pretty much, and then you have Gon. and these
If they
things don't
just
pop
took the
up,
time-
and then they change the map again in Forces, for the most part, they'd have to completely sort of, they'd have to pick a continuity and stick with it, or they have to reconstruct it entirely.
Here's the thing about Forces' map that is explained by Izuka. Basically, there are two worlds. There is the human world, and then there's Sonic's world. Forces takes place in Sonic's world.
So, why does Eggman switch between the two, and why does Sonic switch between the two? How does Sonic switch between the two?
That we don't know,
So-
but it's confirmed that there are two separate worlds.
No,
There's the
it's
human
confirmed that Izuka was like, oh shit, I didn't actually think about anything as usual.
Pretty much. So that's a nightmare in itself to try to do a continuity of, but
Yeah.
someone, I shit you not, someone did take the time to try to place every single Sonic game in relative order, which, if you watch the video,
Impossible.
he somehow does it.
Impossible.
And he takes every single game, and I'm actually gonna get you the link of this.
I'll
so you can watch this.
watch it later. Yeah, I don't think that's possible.
He somehow does it. I don't know how he does it, but you have to have a lot of assumptions on certain things because there are plot holes in itself. And funny enough, in the video that I did talking about like an epilogue for Forces, someone brought up, like I said, the freaking power scaling shit, and I had to go and be like, I'm trying the best I can to power scale with the information that we have, and that makes no sense because Forces story contradicts too much lore that's established. From Mania alone, literally.
Lore in a Sonic game. I feel like you're mistaken. You are sadly mistaken if you think there is lore. At this point, nah, they fucking...
Generations. Literally Generations is the big middle finger to the lore of Sonic.
Generations is a piece of shit game. Fuck Generations. What a bunch of fucking bitches.
Generations is canon because it picks up exactly where Colors left off.
Right.
And you know what's the most genius comment I've ever seen in terms of Generations?
What?
I saw someone on the Sonic Reddit say, Generations is basically the game continuity's version of the new Genesis wave from the comics.
Uh-oh. Oh, fuck no.
Which is scary to think about, because somehow that shit makes sense.
I hate where fucking modern Sonic is right now, and I'm not even talking about the boost formula. I don't give a shit that he's the boost formula. I enjoy the boost formula. I have fun with it.
I have fun with it. Unironically, I come back to Forces from time to time.
That's what I've been doing today.
And I can say that Forces has problems, but it's just lost potential. And the best way I can explain it is whereas 06 is a damaged game mechanically, it still had depth to it to a certain extent. Forces is not messed up mechanically, it's just bland. And you can't fix bland without putting effort.
Yeah.
But there's still something there to enjoy, unironically, in once in a blue moon.
I think some of the stages are pretty fun. I do like the sort of short and sweet idea that it kind of has, but I feel like there's some more they could have done to level design. My biggest problem is just that they sort of really simplified modern Sonic style, and I absolutely adore how he controls during the boost. And people just be like, oh, it's because you're boosting the whole time. I'm just like, okay, I don't really give a fuck. It still feels fun to control. I don't care if that makes it fucking bland or something.
The best thing that they could do to the boost formula that I actually praise Forces for, because I feel that is a natural evolution to the boost formula, is the fact that you can continue your momentum when you jump and you have that arc of height when you're boosting.
I love
That's amazing. That continues the momentum and keeps the fast pace going. If they were to make level design around that, I feel like that would be freaking crazy of what they could do with that. For example, let's say in a stage, for the simplicity, Green Hill Zone, you go up to a cliff. The next set of path is over a giant ass bottomless pit that can only be traversed if you do the air boost. You know what I mean? So by having the momentum of the boost, going at a certain angle from the jump, you can reach the distance to get to the other side. That is interesting level design because you're using a new game mechanic that was not in prior boost games. Why they don't think of this shit is beyond me. And what makes it worse is that 3 level designers, 2 of them were from Lost World, 1 of them was brand new to Sonic.
One was the director of the Lost World level design, and 2 were brand new.
Okay, it still doesn't help. I feel that they could have done more if they were to, because the way the boost formula is here is way too simple. It's way too simple, and I feel like if they were to given Lost World's formula another try, it would have been a lot more interesting for gameplay standards.
Well, see, I feel like it's a combination of things, because the level designers can be considered at fault because of the whole simplicity of the levels and everything, right? But the playstyle itself is also extremely simple. So they might have been trying to design levels around that sort of simplicity. The level designers didn't necessarily design the playstyle. They designed the levels that the playstyle plays in. So if the playstyle is really simple, like as it is, they might have gotten the wrong idea and decided to do it that way. So while they are at fault, I feel like there might have been a bit more of a stake in other parts as well in that particular case.
I feel if they were given this game maybe 1 extra year, it could have turned out a lot better.
Bro, I wish they actually gave it 4 fucking years like they said. But
how many years was this game? Or no, better say, how many years was the engine? Because that's what I hear. Like, it took 3 years for the engine, then 1 year for the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I feel like Sega is, or Sonic team is riding on the fact that this is a budget title. Because remember, that was part of the promotion, that this is a budget title.
Yeah.
And they feel like that's a valid excuse as to why the game is the way it is, and I don't feel that that's right for a game developer or a game development team to even have that as an excuse at all. If you're gonna make something, put passion behind it because it shows in product.
Well, when was the last time they put passion into these fucking modern Sonic games in the first place anyway?
I would argue, and I actually was planning on making a video on this, where Unleashed was the last passion Sonic game.
I go a little farther. For the most part, I feel like real passion stopped after 06, but I think you had a bit of a thing going for Unleashed, and as far as the narrative side of things goes, Black Knight as well.
I would say that because of the fact that, because of the disaster of 06, I look at Unleashed.
I hate hearing that shit. Continue.
You know what I mean.
I know.
To Sega, they look at 06 as like one of the worst things that ever happened to them. Yeah. So when they saw that, their very next main Sonic game was Unleashed. So their thought process was, okay, this is either gonna save or kill Sonic as a franchise, potentially. So we need to put our A game on, which is why they tried to unveil Sonic Unleashed as this grand world adventure. For God's sake, the original idea for Unleashed was to be Adventure 3 before it changed into World Adventure, and they still stuck with the name World Adventure in Japan, and you can see that. Everything around Unleashed was the mentality of, this could be it. We need to put our best foot forward.
Yeah.
That's why everything was super detailed, in-depth, very long, gameplay heavy, story heavy. They tried their best with Unleashed, and you could see it. I don't see that much in Forces with that. They tried to do a compelling story, but they didn't have the passion behind it.
Because they know they're gonna keep going. They know Sonic's not gonna fucking die because he somehow hasn't all this time.
I feel like they were in the same situation again with freaking Boom, coming off of Boom. If Mania never freaking happened, let's say Christian Whitehead's team was never accepted to do Mania and Forces was it, and they look at the sales of Boom going into Forces, we could have had a completely different story.
Yeah.
But because of Christian Whitehead making Mania and the success of Mania, I feel like they went and had a more relaxed mentality because they were riding off of Mania more. Like, they were okay with Forces being a screw-up because they're like, Mania did it for us. We don't need to worry. Now, granted, I understand that, like, Forces and Mania's development was, like, side by side, and Forces happened first before Mania.
Forces happened second. Forces happened fucking second. Whatever. Hedgehog Engine 2 was alongside fucking Mania and a bit before it, but Forces was after Mania fucking started. What a big oof.
They said that Forces was like before Mania, but whatever. I don't believe half the shit that freaking Mania Sega says about development for this game, because it freaking shows that it's bullshit. But I really think that when they saw the success and the positive feedback from the review of Mania, they went and dialed down so much of worrying about Forces.
Yep.
Which is a shame because the concept is there to be a grand adventure again. To be a dark story that can be taken seriously and not be a joke. To be something like Adventure 1, 2, or even Heroes. They could have done
Heroes.
Heroes is an effed up. Heroes is an effed up story if you think about it. With Metal Sonic, he's copying the data of everybody, trying to roboticize everything. That's effed up if you really think about it.
I don't think it's
lighthearted.
For the most part, I feel like a lot of it is presentation. And to say, if anyone was to tell me that Heroes had some dark presentation, I would likely laugh right in their fucking face.
It's not dark presentation. It's a lighthearted presentation using a dark story or a dark
Right, but like presentation is really important if you want like a dark story that can be taken seriously. Nobody takes Heroes seriously because of the way it presents itself.
Which is also true, but
it's very important.
then my better examples would be Adventure 1 and 2, and then Unleashed and Black Knight.
I think what's it called? Honestly, I think 06's tone. Absolutely perfect. I feel that they had a lot of issues as far as like a general narrative goes, and you can't really ignore that. But as far as the tone goes, a lot of people say like Shadow and 06 are the same shit. It really isn't. Shadow comes off as this very cheap sort of edginess rather than an actual darkness, which is something I would actually love out of a Shadow game, especially because of how emotional his past has been shown to be. I feel like there's a lot they could have done, but they just didn't because edgy, you know what I mean? And like, I don't like making fucking edgy jokes about Shadow all the time. Hell, Shadow's my favorite fucking Sonic game, to be honest with you. But for the most part, there's definitely a lot more they could have done, and it's not fucking perfect in any way, shape, or form.
They could have done it so much more with the story. Slight changes I would give for like 06's story, just to like fix
what would you change?
Just to fix the whole bestiality thing, make
okay,
Princess Elise just an animal.
No,
just
I
change
don't.
it to an animal. That's it.
I don't give a
That's
shit
all I
about
would
that.
think.
I do not give a shit about that. It is a fantasy fucking story. I find if I'm going to be bothered by that, I might as well take my balls and rip them off because I have no fucking sack.
I'm only saying that because that's what the majority fans would say their biggest problem.
No, people complain about it because they complain about everything else and they just want to add insult to injury. That is the only reason people give a shit. No, nobody actually gives a fuck. The only people that are bothered are people that are so fucking disgusted by Sonic porn that they gouge their eyes out. Otherwise, people don't actually give a shit. Nobody should give a shit. It's a fantasy fucking hedgehog, fucking like with a fantasy girl, and it's also a pretty one-sided relationship, honestly.
By the way, did you know, fun fact, originally with Sonic, they wanted to have him to have a human girlfriend named Madonna.
Yes.
So, people can't talk shit about Elise if that was a thing and everyone was okay about that.
Yeah, I don't understand how people can be so disturbed by that. It's not like it's not even like particularly sexual either, for the most part. Elise and Sonic's relationship, though, I think the romance is unnecessary, not because they're human and hedgehog, but because I feel like there's just much more of an impact if they're stronger friends, because there was a lot of things going for them, but for the most part the relationship was very underdeveloped, most likely due to development time.
I feel another change I would give is let Sonic meet Mephiles at least once before he kills him, prior to the moment that he kills him, because you don't see him at all in Sonic's story. And I feel that as the guy that's gonna kill him later on, he should at least see him once.
I feel like I kind of like that though, because it has like Silver be the forefront of the of course Eggman is still Sonic's main villain in this game.
You can argue that Sonic 06 Silver was the main character.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you have Silver as sort of like the forefront, and then like it culminates into like Silver eventually turning over a new leaf, and it gives Sonic this sort of false sense of security, and that's when Mephiles comes in. He's finally tired of doing shit. He's just like, you know what, I'm fucking, these motherfuckers haven't been doing shit, I'm just gonna kill them myself, and then he fucking kills them. He just fucking does it. So I kind of like that aspect. For the most part, I do think there are things about 06 I'd have to change in the story in general to make that like really work, but the idea I feel like would be better if Mephiles just sort of stayed out of Sonic's vision.
I feel also that what they should have done is just clean up a little bit of the time continuity problems that 06 establishes.
Well, continuity, 06 was a reboot.
I know that it's a reboot, but even within its own story, it has problems. Like, for example, if you saw some Halloween Johnny's 1-hour review, he brings up that in
that's gonna be nothing compared to what's coming out with me and Mono. Trust me.
Oh, that's gonna be fun for me to see.
Yeah.
With Shadow Story, when you go back in time 10 years to go and cause the events of Solaris, to then have Mephiles captured and Iblis put into Elise, right?
Right.
In Shadow Story, Silver goes with Shadow with the Blue Chaos Emerald, but in Silver Story, Silver gives the Blue Chaos Emerald to Elise.
Yeah.
That's a continuity error within its own story. So just little things like that. How is it in Shadow Story, Silver's with the Blue Chaos Emerald going out of the time portal, but in Silver Story, he waits a second to give the Blue Chaos Emerald to Elise?
Silver never comes out of the time portal with a Chaos Emerald in Shadow Story. What are you? Wait, hold up. Are you asking how Silver was able to bring the Blue Chaos Emerald with him when he gave the emerald to Elise? That's kind of a progression of time. The emerald still existed.
Yeah, but both events are happening at the same time. They go, they're ready to leave, they open the portal, and Shadow and Silver will jump through the portal and go back to the present. In Shadow Story, Shadow and Silver just jump through the portal perfectly fine, but in Silver Story, Shadow jumps first, and Silver waits and gives the Blue Emerald to Elise. Why is it that in Shadow Story he jumps with Shadow with the Blue Emerald in hand, but in Silver Story he waits and gives it to Elise?
What?
That's an actual thing that happened.
Shadow cutscene Sonic 06. Let's take a look at whatever the fuck it is you're talking about. That doesn't sound right. I don't remember that.
I shit you not. I'm pulling up both set of cutscenes, and I'm gonna go to.
I can figure this out. So. Okay. So it was when Shadow and Silver come back to the present.
When they're going back to the present, after Shadow seals Mephiles, he has the scepter in hand. They do chaos control to open the portal, and Shadow jumps through.
I'm watching this right now. Hold on. Alright, let's take a look here.
You'll see Silver has the emerald in his hand.
Okay, you said in Shadow's story.
In Shadow's story, I'm looking. I just saw it right now. It's at
In Shadow's story, Silver.
Right hand. Slow it down if you need to see it. But you see that he jumps through with the blue emerald in his right hand still.
Okay. Alright,
And in Silver's story.
Yeah, I know what happens in Silver's story.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
That's an error. That's a continuity error.
This isn't where we were meant to end up. Let's head back. Everyone's waiting for us. Double boost!
For the most part, we know that Elise ends up with that emerald anyway from childbirth. So like, it might be a continuity error, but it's something that's so like sort of it's so tiny that like. I don't really give a shit.
But
it's just,
the thing is though, if you take that to account, right?
Yeah.
That would mean that Elise never had the blue emerald. So how does she get the emerald when she's older? To which she gives to Sonic.
Because
if we go by Shadow's story.
If you go by Shadow's story, but you go by all of them. For the most part, I feel like it's not hard to understand. Yeah, maybe they contradict each other, but based off of everything else, you can assume which one actually happened. That we can make inferences. We're not all mindless and have to have everything very meticulously explained within the story itself. Again, it is a continuity error that shouldn't really be excused, but at the same time, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to figure out which one's the right one based off of other events. So
that's also true. Overall, though, I really enjoyed Silver's focus in 06. I really wish Silver had his own goddamn game, to be honest.
I'm curious what they would do with Silver. For the most part, I don't like the idea of Silver just always being in some sort of apocalyptic feature and always having some shit going on. I feel like there's a lot more they can like do with Silver. I feel like that's a good like starting point, but they could actually have him like reconstruct shit.
If he goes back in time,
yeah,
I would think like the best way they could do that would be using the time stones to go back with Little Planet, and they would also somehow explain because you already know Sonic 4 is canon, so somehow they could explain why Little Planet is still on Earth or Mobius, whatever you want to call it, and is still captured in the Death Egg Mark II, which is at this point decrepit because it's 200 years later.
I guess.
So what I would say is the emeralds may or may not still exist in the future 200 years later. I have no idea how to explain that.
Then we got no viewers.
Have him. I'm lurking in the chat. I have it pulled up, so I count.
It literally says 0 viewers. What the fuck?
Oh shit.
That's
shit,
weird then. What the hell?
Thing crashed. Hold on.
Whatever.
Hold on. Alright, I pulled it back up. I gotta love the fact that YouTube went down today for 1 hour. Did you know that?
Yeah, I was streaming when it happened.
Funny thing is, somebody made a meme saying, I can't believe Vector found the computer room and hacked YouTube.
Uh-oh. That's fucking horrible. God damn it.
But as I was saying, what if he goes to Little Planet, uses the time stones to go back to an earlier point of Little Planet, right before whatever disaster is gonna cause the future to screw up as bad as it does, and he's able to go back in time using Little Planet. That way, it's an explanation on how he comes back without having to use the Chaos Emeralds or whatever bullshit that they figure out to make him come back. Because how does he come back every time? In Rivals, how does he come back without Chaos Control? In Rivals 2, how does he do it?
Fucking
The
fine,
Time Eater is explained for Generation. How does he come back for Forces?
dude. Time Eater's also fucking retarded.
How does he come back from Forces?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know if they explained his particular method in the comic.
They just show that he does come back in the comic, but they don't explain how he comes back. The best explanation I can give without having two people use Chaos Control like in 06 is if they use Little Planet for the Time Stones. That would be my best bet. In terms of gameplay, I would give Adventure Style, speed him up a little bit from 06, because he should be able to go as fast as Sonic and Shadow, based solely on the intro cutscene of Sonic 06 when he's using his psychokinesis.
Intro cutscene of Sonic 06, Silver doesn't do
For Silver-
jack fucking shit.
Intro cutscene for Silver Story. Remember, he's floating above the sea.
Yeah, I would say you'd have to make his speed limited to flight then if you're gonna go off of that logic.
So I would not make him like just a slow run. I would give him not as fast as like Adventure 2 or Adventure 1 Sonic, but faster than 06's Silver speed. Where it feels speedy, but it's manageable and is capable of use for puzzle and platforming with his psychokinesis.
I guess. I don't know, for the most part, I don't really give a shit that Silver was slower. It didn't really bother me because he was an inherently differently designed character as far
That's
as the
also
gameplay goes. So it didn't really bother me too much.
Now, what they could do is do a thing in the past, try to make him do something to fix it, or maybe go even a mind F where going back to the past, no matter what he does, will not change what's gonna happen in the future, and what he needs to do is to fix it in the future. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they can build off of that.
Character designs first. What the fuck?
This place is enough to make anyone dizzy.
Igloo. I hate the way these fucking modern characters are. They all look the fucking same and shit. They're so fucking boring, and the models only get worse as it goes on. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe not like the specific like polygon and topology quality, but for the most part, the designs.
Why are they forcing classic design into modern Sonic is beyond me.
I don't really fucking.
Also,
It feels kind of weird for them to bring back classic Sonic simply because the whole idea behind the current modern design was to bring the classic and modern designs together. But then they just bring classic Sonic back, and then they make the modern design more like classic Sonic. And for the most part, I feel like 06 had that fucking design down. There seemed like an actual flow to him, which was in direct contrast to how classic Sonic's design was. So there's an actual fucking distinction. I liked how much lankier he was. He was lankier, but he wasn't misproportionately lankier like he was in Boom. It seemed a lot more generally.
You know what? I would accept 06's design as like an older, more mature Sonic. You know what I mean? Where it's been some time, he's been through some shit. He's a little bit more.
I think it's just a superior design for modern Sonic. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I enjoy it. I really do enjoy 06's model, and I wish they could try to use it again.
I feel like I don't really think that it's very specifically because modern Sonic is inherently an older Sonic anyway. And
That's
Modern
also
Sonic
true.
acts differently than classic Sonic. They both have an attitude, but there is an inherent difference in the way they behave with said attitude. So, and it's very observable as well. You, like, I don't even have to like specifically describe it. Like, just one look at the two, the way they pose, the way they sort of behave, it's very different. And 06 Sonic I feel like is the perfect representation of that. He's a lot more sleeker and lankier as opposed to the classic's chubby dip fuck design.
A
Right?
lot more serious. He can still be jokey and fun, but he also is almost like more wiser.
Yeah, he's been around longer, so for the most part,
Like he
Modern
knows
Sonic
what's
is
around the block.
right. So I feel like the 06 design in general just was better. The 06 design for all the characters were better though. There was a better fucking art style for the actual characters themselves. I can't stand the way these current modern designs fucking look. I don't know, like,
I
it's
mean,
not even like a
I
fucking question
would-
of whether
I
or not it's
would-
mixing classic into it. It's just a matter of I don't
I
like the
started
fucking
seeing
style.
the problem of it in Generations and a little bit in Colors because with Hedgehog Engine 1 and Unleashed, even though it's different from 06, you still kind of get the same vibe, you know what I mean?
No, not in the slightest.
Not in the slight- I get a little bit of a vibe, and then what they're trying to do is like they were trying to maybe tone it down a little bit. I still think that
I don't
that
think that's the
they-
right way to go though. For sure, because
I think they should bring it back. I think that they should have refined the model because the in-game engine, the cutscene engine, the CGI engines use the more slankier design.
yeah, he
of
didn't have a
06,
very
and it
good
looked good.
in-game model, but
It didn't have a good in-game model, but the CGI, that's perfect.
His-
That shit is
yeah.
exactly like what we would need for
his
a modern
inherent
Sonic.
design was just better in general, even if the in-game cutscenes didn't look that great. And I don't understand why they wouldn't use that. I feel like the only reason we don't still have that design is because, haha, 06 is bad. Let's make a joke about it on Sonic Twitter every way. I'm fucking tired of that. I hate that
You know what?
self-deprecation shit the Sonic Twitter is doing.
You know what's sad is that they don't give a shit about anybody who takes the time and effort to care about Sonic, but they will throw
Aaron Hansen.
everything to
Aaron
Aaron.
fucking Hansen.
To freaking Aaron for shit talking the series, which is like astonishing to me.
He's never said anything, literally up until Forces and Mania, he was never positive about Sonic, and I wonder fucking why. And even then, when he goes back to the older games, he's like, oh no, and it's just a fucking mess. And I don't
can't
understand
stand
like
watching-
why they're
Watching
fucking...
him with all that shit because it's like he's shit talking for the sake of shit talking and has become the point of a meme
Right.
with himself.
Like,
So now you got,
It's not
even
like-
if he remotely enjoys it, he has to keep up the appearance of
Right.
it's trash, and I don't understand why
but he didn't really,
praise that.
but he didn't really do that with Forces of Mania though. He genuinely did enjoy Forces of Mania. Ironically or unironically or not, he enjoyed it. He didn't hate it. He did enjoy Forces and shit as a game. So I feel like it's kind of a different situation with that. But for the most part, you're right. Generally, he's doesn't really like the Sonic series that much, which is 100% fine. He's entitled to not like the Sonic series. I'd be fucking...
Well, why does
Stupid
Sega
to say that.
encourage the shit talking to themselves even?
Because
That's
they
what
shit talk
bothers me.
themselves all the fucking time, and that's one of the biggest fucking problems. They don't have pride in their work. They just sort of make fun of themselves the whole time. It's so fucking stupid. And when Aaron Weber pointed out that the Sonic Twitter is actually a team of people, it only made it worse because it wasn't just one guy being fucking stupid on the Twitter. It was a whole team of people from an entire corporation just shitting on everything that corporation has ever fucking done within a particular
stand for.
franchise, which is their go-to franchise, mind you. They're a complete icon. So it makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
It's disgusting and disgraceful, to be honest.
I wouldn't describe it as that, but it's just it's fucking stupid and it makes no sense. You're only making things worse when you do that.
They should stop that. Stop encouraging that. Actually appreciate the time and effort that the development team done. Even though we have problems with them, at least pay respects to the development team and the icon that represents your company. That has somehow survived.
Nobody pays fucking respect to any of this shit. Let's get make a point. Like all these fucking Sonic fans are like. At this point, they're just fed up with Sonic Team. They don't really think they can do their fucking job anymore. And it's one thing to not be, like, very happy with their work as of, like, currently. But for the most part, this is the team that even brought us anything in the first place. After 2 mediocre games, they just start acting like they can't design any games whatsoever. Even though, and I feel like a big part of this is that there were plenty of other Sonic games after Generations, but only 2 of them were from Sonic Team. And people don't really ever pay attention to that sort of fucking distinction. And once again, based on what they've shown with Forces, their development mindset, and other things, these lies that they've given us, there is reasonable doubt as far as Sonic Team goes, but for the most part, I don't feel like it's on the level of, like, I don't think... Like it's on the level of don't let Sonic Team make a game again. And once again, I know that not everyone thinks that, but it is something I hear more and more as the days go by, even if it is still technically a minority. And I don't understand like what the thought process possible would even be behind that. And
the thought process
too,
behind it is because of Mania. It's because of Mania and the comparison to Forces.
They assume that fans can do this phenomenal 3D official Sonic games just because somebody who had almost as much experience, like had like what's it called? He'd been doing this shit for most of his fucking life with games and shit. He'd been doing classic Sonic stuff. So he was the man for classic Sonic. Who's the man for fucking modern Sonic? What are you gonna put fucking Sonic World on a pedestal or some shit? Like, no.
No, actually, the thing that everyone is losing their shit on as of recent, I don't know if you've seen it, is the bumper engine.
Bumper engine's fucking trash.
That's what everyone is praising right now.
Bumper engine was fucking horrible.
The
Infinity engine and even the Hero engine looks so much better. What the fuck? There's so much more polish to them and everything. The bumper engine, nigga, huh?
But all these 3D engines that fans are creating, people are like, holy shit, this is like the Sonic game engine that we need for modern Sonic games. And I'm like,
no,
okay, they look
don't fucking miss me with that bumper engine shit.
And I'm like, okay, they look good for a fan creation. But what experience do you have prior to that? Have you tried porting a previous Sonic game to this engine? Have you tried testing out an actual level environment? Have you tried to use unique, interesting, new level environments with these engines? Have you tested it to work efficiently in a Sonic?
Are you good at game design in any way, shape, or form?
And it's like, no, not really, because all testing that you see with these engines are flat level, open-ended levels.
Right.
That have a giant canvas. They're little to no momentum, little to no environment, just to not really show off the physics, let alone game design or level design. So you can't really judge on it.
For the most part,
it's a tech demo. It's a tech demo.
You can say that like they're good. Like the Infinity engine looks like a really good fucking engine. It looks, the visuals are very good. The visual sort of compatibility and everything. The way it actually works is good. It has a test level. He has this open field, but it's like the way he did the terrain generation. It's done in a way where you're actually able to fucking test things within the game. Right? So he's been showing off how things work. That's the whole point of test levels too. So I feel like an engine like that, you can still praise an engine for what it's doing, but you can't say because somebody made a good engine, they can make a good Sonic game. You simply just can't.
let me see the engine in action in an actual level.
Right.
And then we start to judge. Right now, this is all to show off what it can do.
Not, yeah, but it's up to
will it
actual
do?
designers to actually have something, right? And a lot of these fan engines, the whole point of it is for other creators to create, but have those engines as their own sort of benchmark, which I think is perfectly fine. I feel like that's really good and just a generally good thing to do within the community. But for the most part, I feel like it doesn't qualify people to be able to make good Sonic games. Now, I'm not one to talk about what a good Sonic game would be considered because, like, my opinion on Sonic is just so fucking radically different from all this other shit that I'm probably not even qualified to do literally fucking anything.
Hey, you got an editing program, gameplay, and a mic. You're qualified to talk about anything.
I'm qualified to talk about that shit, but like as far as like creating a game goes, literally I have a project that I want to work on so bad, but like just don't have the team to. And it is a Sonic related project, but it's really just a fucking Metal Gear. Realistically, it's a Metal Gear Rising fan game with a Shadow the Hedgehog fucking visual wrap over it, pretty much. That's really all the goal of it is, because like I fucking love that game. So I love Shadow the Hedgehog and I love Metal Gear Rising. So it's like, well, I feel like this is how Shadow the Hedgehog should have been in the first place. Let's do this. So, but when people are thinking of Sonic fan games, it's just like, oh, I'm thinking of something where you have physics and you can jump off a giant mountain and you can have a good jump and it's fun because you can jump high or some shit. Like, what the? I don't fucking give a shit about, like,
Jumping high. Give me interesting gameplay. Give me something that will test my skill.
I don't give a shit about fucking classic Sonic because it seems mostly just like, it seems to the entire basis of the game is momentum, right? Rather than just having a momentum to it. Like, there's a difference between completely designing your game around the momentum you have in it and just having momentum in general. You would be kind of like what's it called? Like Mario Odyssey, like Breath of the Wild, like these shit. They're not designed around momentum. They're designed around so many different things, but they have momentum in there, and there's something you can actually do with it, right? Some like any of the more recent Spider-Man games, Spider-Man PS4, the Amazing Spider-Man games, like they have this momentum to it. Games in general need momentum to feel fun. I said this in my last video too. Games in general need actual momentum just to feel natural as a whole. I don't give a shit if it fucking... I don't care about jumping off of a fucking incline to get to a higher fucking path that is just objectively faster than the rest of the paths. I don't give a fuck. And that's the sort of design philosophy that these levels fucking have. And I don't like... a lot of I always enjoy the Sonic games that tend to deviate more. 06 had was pretty fucking creative with the way it went around designing paths and how you actually traverse them, what's faster than the other, whether or not there's a specific thing that's objectively faster in the first place.
That's why I enjoy the adventure formula more, because it really be interesting as to what you can do.
I don't think it's very. It's not even specific to the adventure formula. It's just like the only place that it's truly popped out.
You can even. They really tried. I feel the boost formula can get away with the same thing, but Sonic Team hasn't really tried to do it.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like 06, I feel was the only game where they really fucking put in that effort to really change and evolve things. There was so much that 06 did. There were so many awesome ideas, not just in the story, but in the gameplay. It had the best fucking soundtrack, if you ask me. There was so much going for this game, but they just didn't fucking develop it properly. That is literally like just the biggest issue of 06 as a whole. And I feel like there are a lot of games that do this, that actually have a really cool way of designing things to them. Like, what's it called? Like I was saying, I like the Sonic games that deviate a shit ton, like Shadow the Hedgehog or Black Knight or Unleashed or 06. Like, it's like 06 was like a fucking adventure title, but it worked inherently differently.
It almost evolved the formula.
Right.
Like it took what was
Almost
established and then added on it.
Right.
Which is also a shame here with Forces, where like they took what was established and they took away from it. Like the only addition is, you know, the incline when you do an air boost, but besides that, what really did they add to the boost formula?
Good boost control. In general.
Yeah, I will give that. I will give them that.
Okay, big. Alright. I'll do one more level before I end off the stream. I'm gonna go back and play some fucking I'm gonna go look at some of these fucking Sonic fan games and like just check them out because like.
Oh, before anything though, let me make sure I get that timeline for you.
Oh yeah. I'm still gonna be awake for a little while, but I just won't be like streaming shit.
That's fine. You'll get to enjoy.
There it is, boys.
Yes. Okay. That's now something new I get to work on. Someone I collab with wants to do another collab with me on like an interview with Twitch stuff with me.
Oh.
But he wants it on my channel, and I was hoping it'd be on his channel because I thought it would make more sense. But I mean, I can make it work on my channel and do the interview thing. Speaking of Twitch, tomorrow I have to do Shadow the Hedgehog. Would you like to be a part of it?
Sure. Have you played Shadow before?
Yes. I'm doing Dolphin Emulator for Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay. Actually, you know what? That's what I'll do. I need to start going back to play Shadow and actually doing all the fucking library paths because apparently my fucking memory card didn't quite work.
Dolphin Emulator, and I run it at 1080p 60 frames full screen.
Mm-hmm.
It freaking runs beautiful. Then again, I have a 1080 Ti, so fine.
I have a 1070.
What's your CPU?
My CPU is very low. It's a quad core, but it's only an i3.
Okay, that's why. I was wondering, like, why do you stream at 720p and not 720p 60? Because visually,
that's just the setting that's on. What's it called? That's just the setting that I have on OBS. I didn't even really pay attention to it. I could probably handle it just fine. Like for the most part, I have the Ultra Graphics mod and a very harsh reshade on Sonic Forces when it itself is at 1080p, and I'm pretty sure I could figure this out pretty easily. And if anything, I could just disable the fucking reshade and still have the Ultra Graphics mod and be able to run at like a clean sort of frame rate.
My suggestion for that then would be